Business, a person's occupation, profession, or trade. Connection, a relationship in which a person or idea is linked or associated with something else. Welcome to Business Connection. Each week, our program will offer inspiration to navigate the business world. Information you can use to succeed in any field. And we will help you focus on your goals. Join us now for Business Connection with your host, BC Clark.
Hello, this is the Business Connection, and I'm BC Clark, your host. Today, my guest is...
Hi, my name is Glennasha Walker. I just go by Nasha.
Yes. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Here we interview business owners across the state. Sometimes when people come in town and it's my interview time, I can interview them then. Most of all of them have businesses. But it's also to just help the audience kind of understand business and what people are doing in different journeys on their journey. But I think that today it's always good because, like the last person that was just here, when we talk about the journey, it's usually after we've gotten off of it. Yeah. Right? Because then you feel like you can say what you want to say. But when you're on that journey, I think it's the best time to talk because a lot of times you have questions. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Nasha.
Yes.
So tell us your full name.
Glennasha. So my dad's name is Glenn.
Okay. Oh.
So I'm named after my dad.
Okay.
So his name is Glenn and then Nasha.
Nasha. Glennasha. Okay. Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. In honor of your dad. That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Glennasha.
So a little bit about me. I'm 27 years old, and I started 50 Shades of Bundles. Thank you. 50 Shades of Bundles, my hair company, actually in May of 2019. And I say
awesome.
I've been in hustle for some time because really in the beginning phases of my business, it was primarily just because I went natural. So from getting perms all the time to natural hair, navigating that process, trying to take care of your natural hair, I was like, I don't know what to do because everything that I do ruins my hair. I can't color it, it falls out. I can't cut it, it falls out. I can't style it any way that I'd like. And I like to change my hair like I change my underwear, all the time. I'm trying to do something different.
Yeah.
So being restrictive with the flexibility without like being able to protect my hair is what started me wearing wigs and weaves and all those things. And so I kind of started like Sally's and Mid-K's, just getting some of those stuff. Synthetic, hair. And it was really getting exhausting because it's like I have this cute style, but then 2 days later, it's a mess. Yeah. It's matted, it's shedding, it's all thin now, or the color is coming out, or like if I wear a lace wig, the wig is not staying down.
Yeah.
So I started to do my own research, and that's when I discovered.
I'm so glad you said that. No, because that's the problem a lot of times. People go into industries and they don't find out as much as they could about that industry. And maybe they're doing something just in that industry, but they don't have all the facets of what that industry gives. And so they go off and they try, and then they get to a point and things don't work and they'll say, well, why don't, but I love it when people say, I start doing research.
Well,
because that's where you get the information from. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it just makes me so good when people say I did the research, because that's what I send people to do. And sometimes they don't like it. They was like, well, I already know. You don't know everything.
You don't know. Well, and then like I was
you have to let them go.
To this podcast that was saying like, our ignorance is a good thing because that means you have an opportunity to learn. When you learn,
absolutely.
You can advance. And so like for me, I was like, I'm not going to keep buying these wigs and they be messed up in 2 days. I just can't do it because I'm a fashionista.
It's a lot of money. Yeah,
I like to dress up. I like to look pretty. I like to, I like
all
to say,
the things that you need to. Yeah.
When I was dressing up as a little girl, I still like to dress up now. And so to me, not having that flexibility that I could trust was where I was like drawing the line.
Yeah.
So after kind of doing some of that research, I was able to secure some vendors and better hair extensions.
Quality
from
better.
Different, all kinds of countries and cities and stuff. Just
yeah.
figuring out what I like And what did I consider quality? And then from there, I mean, people just noticed. You know, I never had an idea of being a business owner. Initially, I was just trying to look
This is
good.
like, this is the same person that just left this chair said the same thing. I didn't think I would ever be a business owner. I never thought about it.
Oh, I was gonna be an actor. So I guess I'm here.
Yeah, that's right. You
So
are here.
I was going to do that and teaching and stuff, which I do now help teach people in the beginning phases of business as well, of just figuring out the structure of business and things like that with the POC collaborative. However, yeah, that's just a little bit about me and my business. And so once people started to ask me questions, it became great, but it was overwhelming a little bit because I was just like, dang, y'all, like I did the hard work, you know?
Yeah, that's when you have to get to a point where you say, you know, here's my class. You know, I'm doing a master class on how to do this.
Yep.
Or whatever. That's when you start doing that. Because if they're asking you questions and you just getting all the information, what are you getting out of it? That's your time.
Exactly.
So you do a master class. Have a master class two, 3 times a month or whatever. And people are going to come because a lot of people want to know how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay? And they want to know how to do it the right way. For me, for you, as you're growing, that needs to become part of what one of the services that you offer.
Yeah.
Is the fact that, you know, you do master class so people can learn. And then you can break that up and say, you know, if you're thinking of going into this industry, here are some of the things. And so you can have like a one-on-one to go into the industry. When you want to do a master class, that's more money because you're going to be going through different things. You probably have models on the stage and all that kind of stuff, right? And so you look at those things and you start to position those, putting them in right. So now there's another stream of income for you. So yeah, don't just give it all away.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you can do quick workshops, you know, like if you want to know how to like you found a way that you can seal things down without having any issues and all that kind of stuff. That's somebody wants to know that.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of people in our industry that that's in our community that have alopecia.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so they can't do the things that everybody else is doing, like taking their hair back to natural because half of it ain't there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so there's different things, you know, and you can even do a class on that. You know, what can you do? What are some things you can do when you have alopecia and still want to look beautiful and come out and show yourself? You know, those are things that people would want to know.
Yeah.
You know, so just think of different streams of income that you can bring into your business.
Yeah, definitely. It's just figuring out the categories because, I mean, 50 Shades of Bundles is 50 Shades of Bundles for a reason. Lots of different shades, styles, colors, textures.
A lot of
so
bundles.
I can service, you know, practically anyone, you know, so it's deciding what are the pillars of those specific courses and what are the startup phases, which I think obviously research is probably the biggest one, just like how to find the right types of vendors and things are some things that I've been considering.
Yeah.
Really for me, it was just, instead of giving out all my information, that's how I started being a business by saying, oh, well, you can purchase it from me, you know.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And you still want to say that. You still want to say that. And the thing is, when you're, remember, even though you're training, you do some training and people are paying to come to the class, there's secrets you don't tell.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
they have to come back to get some information.
Of course.
That's the next class.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I learned that because as a consultant, you know, you can talk for 15 minutes and give away a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so when we first got started back in 2003, one day we was taking, I was like, you know, we're giving away too much information. I said, we used to do like a 30-minute free consultation. But what we were doing was most of the talking. I was like, okay, something wrong with this. And I said, you know, and so when we sat down and we kind of carved out everything, it was like, okay, so when we do a 30-minute consultation, is them telling us what they want, what they need, and we're listening. We're listening, and we're listening. And then we can say, we can develop a plan.
Yeah.
You know, and it will cost this. So we haven't said anything yet. We just told them what we do, what services we provide, but we don't go into detail. So by the time they got through telling us everything we did and we're taking notes, we can say, yeah, we can set up a plan. This plan will probably be a 3-month plan where you'll see results. So, so you have to get smarter as you go. And the longer you're in business, the more you learn.
Yeah.
And even when you're not, you're learning. You just refuse not to learn. I refuse not to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm a habitual learner. I mean, and I learn from, people say, oh, I can't learn nothing from them. They are this. No, there's always,
something.
you can, look, I have the greatest respect for people who are service workers, okay? I'll call them out. I remember back in the day when we used to do our breakfast, and the people that served at the end of our breakfast, I would have them come up and we'd give them a hand clap and usually, tips.
Yeah.
Because what they do is what they do, but they're just as important, because if they weren't doing it, who would be doing it?
Literally.
So,
Yes.
and a lot of people ain't trying to do that. So why wouldn't we make sure that they felt appreciated? So anyway, back to you. So, what have you found out since 2019 that has caused you to really feel like this is your niche?
Every time, every time that I get into that mode, because I think all business owners get into that mode where they're just like, I can't do this, I'm done. I make an order every single time. And it's gotten to a point now where I've built enough credibility in my city where that I'm recognized often. And so then a lot of times I feel like, that's giving up on, helping others.
Right.
And that makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, well, if I'm not doing it, who gonna help them?
Yeah.
Because I know.
But you're not giving up on helping them.
Yeah.
You're still helping them. But there are greater ways you can help them by
Yes.
adding the additional services of doing some training.
Yeah. And that's just the thing. I just feel like because now I'm at a point where I'm very recognized, it's given me the confidence to continue and to recognize
I feel
that.
like this is where I need to be.
Yeah, and like
this
when
is the
you
purpose.
bring up the classes, inside my head, I'm like, yeah, that imposter syndrome thing is dead because we gotta let it go. Because that's really what has kept me so long from going to that next level, because I study the greats in my mind, so then I'm like, well, they know all of this, but obviously, like you're saying, like we can learn from anyone.
Absolutely.
And it's not that, I'm not credible or that I
No.
don't know anything.
That doesn't take
obviously,
anything
there's
away from
people
you.
that need
Yes,
so
yes.
knowing that, and then I just can't get away from it now at this point. Like people will always ask me questions or where could I get, like I feel very trusted.
Yeah.
And so even though I'm confident already in myself and what I've been doing with my business, I've been able to stay consistent because of the support that I have and the mentors that I've stayed connected with, the communities I involve myself with, and just always being curious anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
think
I
it's
love
good.
hair and stuff, so I gotta figure it
Yeah.
out.
Well, you will, and you will. Just give yourself time, sometimes, and watching the trends and watching, what's happening in the financial world, those type of things. But always, you can listen at webinars to continue to learn how to be even a greater leader, a greater server, a greater servant leader. I mean, those are things that you can do all the time. Every day is a new day.
Right.
To learn. Every day is another day that you can bring in some more information to you. And I always view it this way. The more I learn, the more I'm able to share with the clients that I have, And so, and what that does is just makes both of us better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I share every little thing, but I can tell them a tip or two where they can get past where they are. So the more I learn, I'm going to be able to help somebody else.
Right.
And I think that that's something that we sometimes may take for granted, that we know a lot and we can share some of that knowledge, because there's people that are waiting for us to get to wherever we're going so they can come up.
Right.
And so I always think that, the more I know, I'm going to grow, but the more I share, I'm going to grow as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to learn from people I'm sharing with. They're going to say, I was doing this or whatever. And you'll be surprised at some of the wisdom nuggets that come out of people that you wouldn't believe.
Right.
So that's why I don't discount anyone. I mean, to me, everybody has something that they're offering. So I acknowledge and respect everyone. So that, because that's just what it is.
Well, and then everyone has their own different, walks of life and
Yep,
experiences. So
they do.
we can't say that we're gonna know exactly everything
And
they
we
know.
can't, right, and we can't say that we're almighty because maybe we're someplace and maybe we're looking and we don't know where they are. They may be past you. They may not be showing it.
Yes.
You know
Or
what I'm
even
saying?
the benefit of a collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration, that's huge. I'm telling you, I think that the way people grow the most is in collaborations. Being able to share and then have other people share, it's amazing. It is. It's truly amazing. And I've seen a lot of collaborations that I've done that's been lucrative for me and the other person, other organization. So I think it's important that, and I mean, I think for you going into some of the, even if they wouldn't be jealous, going into some of the beauty schools, and offering classes. That I would think that they would want you to offer classes. So you know about Boston?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone over there?
I've went there because they were in like the ambassadors area.
They still are in there, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I was going to see about recording them for, I was telling you earlier, my show, Hair Uncovered. And just talk to them about what do they do there and ask them questions about their company. But I think it's really cool that we have a all black hair school in here. Like
in the community.
That's really awesome.
That is.
And I've kind of had the privilege. I have a few, hair salons that's been requesting if I did wholesale. So I'm moving into new experiences and levels.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of figuring out, what is the structure going to look like for that, so it's consistent.
Yeah, well, and you want to make sure that it's not something that's going to take it from what you're doing. Because that's important too. You might, wholesale. Yeah, I mean, there's stuff that you can do, but you have to make sure that you are getting what you should be getting.
Oh yeah.
You got to make sure that your revenue doesn't hurt because of it.
Oh, absolutely.
So I know people that sell purses and they usually cut the slips out of them so that people can't go there and order the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Just stuff like that. Well, I mean, you can do that for a while, but people eventually
want their own.
But yeah, I mean, you can't stop that. That's to me, I think that's great when people want to start off on their own. Because look, everybody, like you said, I don't know if you said it or not, but I'm gonna say it. But anyway, a lot of times when you see that there's something you can do and offer to people, you should go say, okay, play it out, do your research. Okay, can this be a viable business? Because everything can't, but you can definitely check and see if it's going to be viable. If it's going to be viable, then what do I need to do in order to be able to make money at this viable business? What things do I need to put in place? How can I make sure that this is something that I can really grow, into something where I can maybe one day just sit home and have other people do it?
Right.
Yes. So, there's a lot of things that you're thinking of and talking about that you can do that a lot of times, you're thinking, oh, I don't want to do that. And some people say, oh, no, I don't want to do that because then I want to make money. But this is after you're done with it, sir. You know what I mean? You want to be doing other things. Then, I mean, what are they going to do? Oh, I've learned everything. You don't never learn everything. I don't care if you go into a business, you still don't learn all the tricks that person have learned who was there. There's some things you got to go through in order to learn them.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And so, but you do want to have a time where you take a vacation. You don't want to be tied to the job, right? To the business. You don't want to be tied to it. So with that, you want flexibility, but you have to have people you trust.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing.
I've learned the importance of contracts.
Yes.
Because if I bring you a contract and you're like, perfect, we don't need to do business.
Yeah. And that's true.
Because if you don't, people do. However. And I know, especially, like, I've had it happen recently.
Yeah.
Actually, like, I was looking forward to a web redesign or whatever like that, and the person just took the deposit, worked on it a little bit, and disappeared. And I was like, the one time I don't have this contract and I've been doing this, but it was just like, okay, this is a reminder.
Yeah.
These are things that just are standards.
You have to do contracts.
They're just standards.
You have to do contracts.
Because we don't have time for that.
That's part of your standard operating procedure. So SOPs is to have contracts if you're consulting or training or anything like that. You have to have a contract.
Yeah.
Because people don't like to
They don't stick to their word a lot. I mean, and
They don't
if they don't have
fulfill.
a contract, they don't have anything that's requiring them to.
Right. There's no accountability.
So I was like, take it, but
Now, do you use WordPress when you're
no,
creating?
I actually am trying to switch. I have GoDaddy right now.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm-
GoDaddy is the yeah.
yeah.
But to do your work, do you do websites?
I did my own,
Oh, okay.
and it's
So what is it in?
right now it's on GoDaddy.
I know it's on GoDaddy, but is it WordPress or what is it?
I don't know because I just use the GoDaddy platform
Oh,
to
okay.
create it. So I think
they
it
have a
is
lot of stuff
serviced
in
through
there.
WordPress, but right now, like basically my site is just like a catalog.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking of shifting to like Shopify or something like that, where it's more
Or
e-commerce.
Etsy.
Yeah, where it's more e-commerce
Etsy.
and
Etsy is probably
Etsy
more
too.
economic. I think so. Etsy.
I like Etsy
ETSY.
too.
Yeah. But I mean,
Especially for those courses that you're talking about, because I purchase things on there for
Yeah.
courses and whatnot too.
Yeah.
So I know or even Gumroad. You know, I can have a Gumroad.
Yep.
So some of those, I just figuring out what the pillars are and then the structure of it to be consistent.
And going after it, yeah. And I think a lot of times too, it's you want to always watch what's going out, and making sure that what's going out is not more than what's coming in. That's the financial part of it. But making sure that you're actually gaining.
Right.
You know, that there's revenue that you're, and setting revenue goals too for your business. So like, you know, say like last year you made $1 million. So this year your goal is 1.5 million or 2 million. So now you have to say, okay, now what did I do last year just to get that million? Okay, so this is that. So then I have to increase my sales on these, and these. And I'll need so many in each one in order to be able to get to that, you know, 1.5 million. You know. By the end of the year, I want to try to be as close to 1.5 million, or at least at 1 million, at the 2. So you just start looking at what you sold, and adding that up, and so how many you sold of each thing, and now what do I need to do to increase each one of these things that I sold in order to get to that additional
Yeah.
500,000.
That's a lot about the marketing too, and
It is about the
researching
marketing.
behind who
Yeah.
and who I'm trying to get to purchase and why, and looking at the analytics of that. So
And you have to be able to know what target that you can. The thing though, this is a $1 trillion industry,
oh yeah,
and there are women that will buy hair before they pay their bills,
oh for sure.
and I'm like,
Before they get a car, they'll be like today, the weather's messed up. If I was doing hair today, they would still be on their
coming.
way to that appointment.
Yeah.
We not missing that appointment. we not missing that appointment.
I know,
We
it's
looking
so
for that hair.
it's just so weird though that they put that into things that don't last.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm just saying it's good for you, but I'm just saying that, you know, priorities. But anyway, yeah, you know, sometimes, and I mean, people do what they want to do. But
And I
lots,
guess it also, for me, what I've noticed is with hair, for some people, it is a part of, themselves, like how they feel emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So it becomes a thing of like, this is a self-care. This is my mental health. This is my,
and that is,
sometimes like
if a person is struggling with that, then
they
you can
get their
see
hair
that.
done. That's
Yeah.
different. They're
Yeah.
a whole new person. Like the
Yeah.
Snickers commercial.
That
you
is
eat,
that is
and
a form
now
of
you're like,
self-care.
I'm happy.
Yeah, that's a form of self-care.
So-
It really is, and I think that we need to recognize that. But I'm talking about some people that just come, they got nails out here, and not a job. So anyway,
Oh yeah.
you know, you probably get a lot of them, but business women who are out there and they need to look a certain way, I can see that. That's part of their whole thing. They have to. They have to be able to come and do what they need to do. You know, that's why I was telling you that one day when we was at that place. That's why I was like, my daughter was like, "Who is
I'm sorry. You gonna tell
who is
them?
this person?" I ain't tell that. Who is this person? She said, she's got to put your business in the street. I said, she's not like that.
Thank you.
I said, she's not like that. So anyway, when I talked to her, she said, was somebody you know? I said, yes. I said, I talked to her. I said, but I said, I think that she did because she didn't have my personal information.
Yes.
And I said, that was the way. She said, well, she could have. Anyway, you know how they are. They're just protective.
Oh, I
Overly
respect
protective
it.
and-
I
and
definitely
so-
understand.
So if you had, so we have a couple minutes left. I just want to talk. What are some of the keys or tips that you would offer someone who are thinking about not only going into your industry, but going into your industry, but also that wanted to start a business? What are some of the keys or tips that you would tell them?
I would tell them to find your community, meaning what resources out there support you in the beginning phases that you can become a part of. What classes can you join? What groups can you be a part of? So that you can have structure and guidance that can move you to the next levels, because you're going to need to understand what your business plan is to start there and actually know what is it that you're trying to do, why are you trying to do it, who do you want to do it. And there are tons of programs, classes, and things that will help you understand those pieces.
Right.
And then figuring out the legal structures, and then figuring out doing the research of what that specific business plan broke down, so that you're not working backwards like me.
Yes.
I
That's
mean, like, I
so
worked
important.
backwards.
That's so
I
important.
worked so backwards.
Well, you know what though? We have to find out what works best for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it's where we need to work backwards, as you said, getting to where you need to be, then so do you.
Yeah.
I mean, so you do. But it just depends on how much commitment, how much passion you have in this that's going to sustain you on this journey.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing that I'd love to say to people, that hey, I think everybody should go into business. I do. I think everybody
yeah.
should go into business for yourself so you can understand what everything is. And then you'll be more cautious when you put someone,
money.
yeah. But also when you put somebody down, or you walk in the store and somebody's trying to help you and you're like, I don't need no help, You know how we used to have that because we had negative things that happened to us back in the day, when you walk in the store and the first thing, before you could even look around, may I help you? How are you going to help me when I don't even know what's in here?
Exactly.
Anyway.
And half time they don't know what's in there.
Yeah, most of the time, that's true. So I would say stay focused on what you plan to do.
Yes.
Get the research, do the research that you need.
Yes.
Make sure that you can be committed to it, and find your niche, find your community, and make sure that you're focused on what you're doing, and keep the main thing, always in business. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you
I
for
really
having
appreciate you.
me.
Yes, and we'll see you next time.